The Yellow Brick Road. This video does not reflect the actual views of real people. These are actors playing a role to entertain audiences. No persons or animals were harmed in the making of this video. Gosh, I love YouTube and I love Google.
Welcome to the Yellow Brick Road. I'm Jordan, this is James, and we're gonna go back to our roots. Philosophy, or my roots. Yes, tribal noises, spears, hip-hop, and basketball. And he'll go back to his roots of
potatoes,
stealing everything we do. He'll invent rock and roll, and
because Italians did that, right? Something like, American gangsters were us first.
he'll have a good jump shot. Yeah.
Oh, I can just get a Tommy gun and just.
No Kramer. Or yes, Kramer.
How's that racist?
Speaking for myself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We all heard you, what you really said.
Point is, we're going back to philosophy
The stripper's gonna
in this video.
record your calls and shit. About to the public. I fucking hate those white people. I hate them. Including that guy that does podcast with me. Fuck him.
Alright, so rummaging through YouTube,
Racist.
you always get ads that pop up, and I see a lot of these Prager University ads where it's Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, those guys.
Both of them are white.
The intellectuals of our time.
I wonder.
It's because they're
It's because they have accurate jump shots. Is that it?
It's because they're more intelligent on average.
Just because they can make passes and shit? Pause.
Okay, so this guy, Peter Creative, is basically gonna make a case for God existing based on moral, or the idea of morality.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna agree, disagree, agree with some things, disagree with others, whatever the fuck it is. Here we go. Name of the video is Where Do Good and Evil Come From?
Genetics.
To some, yeah.
IQ test.
To some, yeah.
Oh, they're wrong.
I'm going to argue for the existence of God from the premise that moral good and evil really exist. They are not simply a matter of personal taste, not merely substitutes for I like and I don't like.
So, right off the bat, where do you stand?
Hmm?
Where do you stand? Is there absolutes when it comes to morality?
There are no absolutes. Nah.
No way he's watching right now.
Yeah, he's studying for his 20th SAT. He's like, I'll get you for this. Yes.
Yes.
We both know I'm not capable.
Yes, there is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there are absolute good and absolute.
Yep.
I would say the same thing, but change the terminology around. There's absolute good, and then there's absolute not good. Which is to say evil. Okay.
Before I begin, let's get one misunderstanding out of the way.
Creeped.
My argument does not mean that atheists can't be moral. Of course, atheists can behave morally, just as theists can behave immorally.
Damn.
Let's start then with a question about good and evil. Where do good and evil come from? Atheists typically propose a few possibilities. Among these are evolution, reason, conscience, human nature, and utilitarianism. I will show you that none of these can be the ultimate source of morality. Why not from evolution?
Do you want to say why before he does? Why didn't evolution?
Yeah, I know. That's like saying, well, it's genetic. It's a genetic trait passed down from your ancestors. Feeling bad or good. It's like, no.
Yeah, for absolute good to happen, there needs to be a choice. Thus, it can't be through evolution. Choice needs to exist.
Keep gagging on the red pill. Blue pill.
Continue.
Because any
How the fuck did 5 minutes go by already? I felt like 2 minutes maybe.
You're just slow, dude.
Whatever.
supposed morality that is evolving can change. If it can change for the good or the bad, there must be a standard above these changes to judge them as good or bad.
Okay, so he doesn't mean genetics. He doesn't mean survival of the fittest. He means just it progresses as time goes by. The morality just progresses over time.
I don't know about that. I think there's always been a straight up like foundation for it.
Either way, his argument murders that one because there has to be a standard.
Yeah.
Right? If you're chasing something, there has to be a thing.
Morals get better over time. I'm like, I don't know if that's it.
Yeah.
I think it's just people being less ignorant.
If you're doing the dumbest shit ever just to stretch your body out and reach 7 foot tall, 7 feet tall, whatever. Either way, there's still the marker of 7 feet.
Yeah.
Same thing with good.
For most of human history, more powerful societies enslaved weaker societies and prospered. That's just the way it was, and no one questioned it. Now we condemn slavery. But based on a merely evolutionary model, that is, an ever-changing view of morality, who is to say that it won't be acceptable again one day? Slavery was once accepted, but it was not therefore acceptable.
Okay, so once again, I must have no idea what this guy's talking about, because now it means ever-changing view of morality. I thought evolution meant to evolve, grow, get better.
That's what I was thinking originally. That's for me. When the other people use it, I think of, you mean genetics?
Either way, we already brushed those off. Ever-changing view of morality. Well, that's just not morality, or it's not goodness or good.
No, because that shit doesn't change.
Yeah.
It's a constant.
And if you can't make that distinction between accepted and acceptable, you can't criticize slavery. And if you can make that distinction, you are admitting to objective morality. What about reasoning? While reasoning is a powerful tool to help us discover and understand morality, it cannot be the source of morality.
And reason's just an explanation for whatever you do, for why you do the morals you do. That's where reason comes in. It's not the actual goodness itself.
No, I could be fucking lying.
Also, I had a mini debate on Twitter talking about something similar to this, where I was like, reason and logic can't be your only tools to understanding morality, like true understanding objective morality. Right? And I used the example of Neo in The Matrix, in the third movie, to where Smith symbolically breaks down all the reasoning arguments you can have. And then Neo's just left with one thing, choice.
Yeah.
I do this because I choose to.
So you bullied someone.
Yep. That looks like a cow's udder.
Oh, why you gotta ruin it?
Look at that shit.
This reminds me of that shit in school. Like, okay, kids, try not to fall asleep while you watch this. Like, there's no music. It's just... Wait. We use reasoning. And now, Noam Chomsky explaining reason and morality. We use reason as a tool to find out what we really believe to morality.
This blue guy must be upset because he sees a microscope and it has like limbs, but he has like no fingers. He's like, fuck.
You got a stub.
He's like, what the fuck, man? Alright.
For example, criminals use reasoning to plan a murder without their reason telling them that murder is wrong. And was it reasoning or something higher than reasoning that led those Gentiles who risked their life to save Jews during the Holocaust?
How do I know they're Nazis?
The answer is obvious. It was something higher than reasoning. Because risking one's life to save a stranger was a very unreasonable thing to do.
Wait a minute.
I don't like the idea of higher.
No, I don't. Yeah, I didn't like that either. Like something's greater than wanting somebody. You know, depends on how you like define it. I guess risking one's life to save a stranger was a very unreasonable thing to do. I could argue that it's incredibly reasonable.
Well,
yeah, I don't even like that word reasonable.
No, the other guy the guy on Twitter made
no,
the
you
same
be quiet
exact.
now. It's my time to shine.
He made the exact same argument,
What?
and I was like,
What? Which was it? You guys remember, do you? Guy on the blue pill. All fucking day.
well,
Do
what
you
I
need
did
some
was
water to swallow it down?
well, what I did was explain that reason is relative, right? Arbitrary. Dare I say subjective. There is no absolute reason or absolute logic.
I can't tell you. I can't tell you that. No, I can't. I can't do it.
Yeah, I told him.
He starts freaking out.
I told the guy Stefan Molyneux does that. If you're gonna do it in like within an argument, you should box it in to some degree, so that you can first agree on the terms, and then you can argue about this specific thing, this detailed thing.
Can you imagine?
But in reality, in real life, you can't just box it in like that.
You imagine? It's like, tell me. I'll know if you tell me. I can't do it. He just starts tearing the walls down, breaks the walls, man. Shit. Let's play.
Okay.
Nor can conscience alone be the source of morality.
What do you think about that?
Alone?
Your conscience.
I'm curious to what he says.
I think the conscience is just you, so yeah. You know, all these things are offshoots of you, but
Well, what I view it as, there's you, then there's all these things that enable you, like, you know, yourself to be able to, like, obviously, like, contemplate shit and be able to express yourself towards others in an external way.
that's the reason and logic part.
Just
right?
saying.
You contemplate the idea.
No. I'm saying there's, and it's all here, except now there's, oh, now I can tell other people.
Yeah.
So I don't know if, yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, I think the conscience is just like an alert system, but
Scope.
It is part of the self, and the self is part of the good. Yeah. Right? Can't separate your emotions and you, really.
Well, no, that's fucking, that's...
Every person has his own...
I didn't mean to hit that.
Yeah, you did. That's why I don't like that's why I don't like the argument of the veil of ignorance. Like, just take yourself out of the equation. Not make the decision. It's like, what the fuck? No, I'm not a robot.
And that sounds like Molyneux's universal preferable behavior, whatever it is.
And that's why, like, if I ever put him in charge of his own world and he even know it, it'd probably burn.
Yeah.
It'd burn to the ground, and he'd probably he'd be there watching it all. No.
Well, he'd have kids shooting up schools, and he'd be like, "There's no reason for it. It doesn't make sense." I'm like, yeah, you should watch those Matrix movies, man. You sound like Mr. Smith.
Molyneux reminds me of Molyneux reminds me.
There's no purpose.
He's gonna have like that son that was a rebel, but for like a decent reason rather than I'm a rebel just for the sake of it. You know, Dad's gonna be like, "Oh, you're such a square dad." What? What's the reasoning for that? Like, just fuck you, man. Just runs out of the house.
Yeah.
It's like you can't see that. I mean, hey.
Conscience, and some people apparently have none. Heinrich Himmler, chief of the brutal Nazi SS, success source of morality. Every person has his own conscience, and some people apparently have none. Heinrich Himmler, chief of the brutal Nazi SS, successfully appealed to his henchmen's consciences to help them do the right thing in murdering and torturing millions of Jews and others.
I would say nobody doesn't have any. Let me just put some dirt on this, and every time I walk by, I don't have to look at it. There we go. I don't have to look at this when I walk to work. It's
yeah.
It's like Hitler was a monster. He had none. It's like, no, I doubt that.
If there's no conscience, there's no self. If there's no self, then there's no choice. No choice, then are you really a person? And I believe these are people.
I believe that too.
Just with a...
His only argument, like, is this guy...
conscience far away in the galaxy.
And a conscience far, far away. Die, Jews, die. It's like, hey, Hitler's like, when he's like 10, I won't be needing this.
How can you say your conscience is right and Himmler's is wrong if conscience alone is the source of morality? The answer is you can't.
How can you say your conscience is good and Himmler's is bad if conscience alone is the source of morality? Well, we're saying he's not using his conscience.
No, he's burying it.
And we're not saying his is good or his is bad and ours is good. We're saying he's just not using his conscience.
It's like burying the self. It's like, let me just. It's like you bury it, just tap in the ground now. All right, it's level. Plant the seeds, everybody. Make sure the patch of grass is not noticeable.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, sir. We have done it too, but not as well as you.
But
put seeds everywhere. So yeah, I mean,
if you put it in this context, then yeah, you're correct. But I don't look at it that way.
Some people say human nature is the ultimate source of morality. But human nature can lead us to do all sorts of reprehensible things. In fact, human nature is the reason we need morality.
You gotta feel bad for the top left corner. It's like you will pay.
So here's where it starts turning into
this cartoonish,
religious sounding.
Human nature is
you're not capable of doing it on your own.
We need to help you. That's why we have these laws.
So
it's like this. It's like, just raise your hand. You have to have your hand down. Let me help you do the right thing. It's like, then who's doing it? And who are you to say? And you can't make a good argument. And someone's like, I know that's wrong. But you have a law and you have guns. It's like, fuck, man.
Human nature is a funny thing. Because I usually hear it brought up only for bad things. Like, oh, some guy just killed 20 people. Human nature. We're gonna end up killing each other.
No doubt. Look, I mean, hey, the two guys dressed as ghosts. They just had the wrong. They're really coneheads, just dressed as ghosts for Halloween. And one guy was smoking. He didn't realize that there was a
crucifix.
No, that's really a foundation for a building. You just see the side of it. And one guy sneezed and he threw the cigarette and it just burned. And now it just looks like a horrible picture. Their lives are fucked up forever. It's the truth.
So yeah, human nature is a funny word.
Oh,
what?
The right corner, bottom right corner.
You're just crying.
Oh. All this shit's fucked up. I'm just.
There's a guy standing over a crime scene.
It's
bloody
like,
knife.
He's like, I'm back. I did it, guys.
No. It's like if there's chalk around the body, that means the cops came there and chalked out
the pedophile serial killer always returns to the crime and jerks off. It's like, I'm here. I'm back, guys. I'm back. Oh fuck! Watch, he's back. Like this lady's crying because he's back. Two people behind them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit! Watch this, Timmy. Watch this. It's like, I'm back. It's like, fuck. And look, it's like, that's not even chalk. It's a red outlining of. You know, I always wonder, like, really? Just saying, you know. You gotta feel bad. Wait a minute. the blue cop, has a gun and it's a blue guy. Wait a minute. Why is the cop blindfolded them? When the fuck did this happen?
Who says it's a cop? That could easily be a military hat.
True. I just thought blue. Been conditioned. Not blue. Cop, gun. Fuck.
I don't think so.
No, you're wrong on this one.
Fuck, I had a point.
Constantly. Blue.
I had a point, but I had to correct this guy, so I forgot it.
You're wrong. Don't blame me on your mistakes.
Here we go.
That's how hypocrites become poor.
Human nature is not why we need morality, right? Because, like you said, it's not morality if it's outputted.
I don't know. You had to correct me.
If it's output to input, or no, if it's outside to input, that doesn't make it true morality, right? If you're trying to get to the objective morality level, no, then it's just rules and regulations. It's Pavlov's dog. It's not actual morality. So yeah.
It's like the 10 Commandments. We follow them because they're there versus we agree with them. It's like
human nature creates morality as far as like laws and rules and shit like that. And the absolute good part is something they're supposed to embody. They're supposed to be that in action.
It's off topic. It's like the 10 Commandments. I don't know. It's like man shall not lie with another man. Imagine it's like, yeah, just don't lie. Like lying.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't mean that. It's like, but, no, man, we didn't mean that. You fucked up. Just saying. Just thought of that. Press play. Do it now.
They already have one about one.
Do it now.
Right.
Do it now.
Our human nature leads some of us to do real evil and leads all of us to be selfish, unkind, petty, and egocentric.
You know, I don't like him talking about you like that, man. It's not fair.
I don't know if I agree with that one.
What? Human nature is selfish, petty, egocentric, unkind.
Yeah, once again, they all have like a negative view of human nature.
Because they probably haven't looked deeper.
Or they're propping something else up.
We'll see.
I doubt you would want to live in a world where human nature was given free rein.
If they actually investigated, understood
that shit wouldn't happen.
Human nature would be, we'd be using it in a positive light. Look at that.
This screams, I'm ignorant. I'm gonna break windows and steal TVs.
Sounds conditioned. It sounds almost like, it almost sounds like the opposite of human nature, right? Maybe the part of human nature you're talking about is conditioning and being a copycat, following the crowd. You know, maybe that's what you mean by human nature. But
I mean, these guys are wearing napkins on their faces saying they're going to get away with it. And these guys are standing in a fire.
Man,
like, come on.
Where'd the concept of stealing a TV come from? It's like, man, I'm going to steal a TV, man. Like, as a baby? It's like, nah, you're not inbred with, that's not you.
No, it's, listen, son, you're that age now. You're going to start thinking about stealing TVs. Now, listen, what you want to go for one is the big ones. The ones that you can't even fit in the fucking room. You have to have 10 people carry the TV, which is why you're going to get your friends. And as soon as something bad happens, you're going to go downtown and make a riot. Or you're going to fucking, what's that? Yeah. You're going to get a bat and hit a car. You're going to light something on fire and stand over it like very cult-like, and one guy's going to throw his hands up in the air, and his life will be ruined because there'll be a picture of it. Or you'll be the successful guys to the way left carrying the TV, and your one friend spotted, but you're okay. Yeah.
ADD, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, man. Don't be jealous.
So, if you're going to go the other route with human nature and imply that it's created, then that's not really saying much. It's not a fixed, ingrained thing that we do this when this happens. So, like I said, funny words.
Utilitarianism is the claim that what is morally right is determined by whatever creates the greatest happiness for the greatest number.
Why does this feel like
No. No, it should just
What is
be,
morally right is determined by whatever creates the greatest happiness. That's like, these guys voted that they're happy that they're getting whipped every day, so sorry, so this is morally right.
No, it's only cool for a certain amount of people, and the rest are fucked. Right?
No, I meant the whole like, listen, these 1,000.
We'll use a good example. Actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
But to return to our slavery example, if 90% of the people would get great benefit from enslaving the other 10%, would that make slavery right? No. According to utilitarianism, it would.
But he has clothes.
It's a crude example, but you know.
I mean,
I get what he's saying.
We've seen where morality can't come from. Now let's see where it does come from.
I hate these examples.
What are moral laws? Unlike the laws of physics or the laws of mathematics, which tell us what is,
No.
the laws of morality tell us what ought to be.
No. I don't think so. I'm not liking that.
Well, laws of physics and laws of mathematics tell you. Well, laws of physics tells you what's probable, what's probably, and the laws of mathematics are based in its own world, so it can tell you what it is. Tell you what is. It can tell you 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah, but in
isolated in math.
Yeah. But at the same time, I wouldn't say it is. Like, in that own world, that's relative to that. So it's like, well, what's math for? Oh, to help us come up with what's probable.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not what is, honestly. Laws of morality, it's different.
Yeah. What ought to be, yeah. Everyone's a little
Millions
different.
of blue pills falling down in the sky.
It's externally expressed as ought to be, but internally expressed as what it is. That's what I see.
So if someone says, you know, I want my daughter to be safe. I'm like, good. Then you hear, we gotta get guns. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It's like you just
But
forgot.
like physical laws, they direct and order something. And that something is right human behavior. But since morality doesn't exist physically, there are no moral or immoral atoms or cells or genes,
I hope not.
its cause has to be something that exists apart from the physical world. That thing must therefore be above nature or supernatural.
I wouldn't define nature as
Nature's
the
the
physical.
trees and the leaves and the buds. Like, nah, man.
Well, just the physical world. I wouldn't say that. But I'm okay.
The very existence of morality proves the existence of something beyond nature and beyond man.
Now we're really
Now we're getting
disagreeing.
religious.
Yeah.
Now we're getting religious. It's not beyond. There's no greater. Look, this is what I mean. I highly disagree with the whole, this is greater than myself. And whenever I say something like that, it's greater than your current idea of what you are.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. As far as in the moment, like when someone realizes they have something, when they realize something's greater than themselves, it's like in that moment, that's what they're thinking. I mean, that's what it is. I don't think anything is greater than me or you or anything like above. I mean, you do everything like on like straight up like here. There is no up and down. It's just here.
They might kill you for that one.
They will be killing themselves, not me.
Well, maybe if you explained it better, but with the words you just used, they'll kill you for that
I'm
one.
doing it on purpose. I don't.
But yeah,
They are that.
they're let me translate. They're all equal in quality, as far as your value is just as valuable as anyone else.
I get crucified.
But someone's moral intelligence might be higher than another person's.
I meant morality itself. Like it's a higher plane. I'm like, stop.
No, that's different.
Stop it.
You wouldn't be moral at all if it wasn't coming from you. You'd be a robot that God is... Okay,
Or
be moral
this is
then.
beyond nature. I'm like, no, it's everything, dude.
You'd be a robot.
That's why I agree with...
Tony Stark.
No, that's here. Everything's connected.
But, yeah, you'd
Tony Stark, fucking weird.
be a robot because it'd be God programming you to do good or whatever.
I have now reached consciousness and morality. Downloaded. Beep beep. It's like, nah, it's there, man. It's there.
Just as a design suggests a designer, moral commands suggest a moral commander.
Yeah. It's called the self.
I'm not liking where this is going.
You are the moral commander. Now, maybe not you, the ego, but you as in the whole person.
It's like, dude, like, I wonder if this guy's like, there's a general, but it's not you.
Let's find out.
Huh?
Moral laws must come from a moral lawgiver.
Once again, the self.
Well, that sounds pretty much like what we know as God. So the consequence of this argument is that whenever you appeal to morality, you are appealing to God, whether you know it or not.
And what
Or yourself, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, what do you mean? I'm not like, oh, he said God. I'm like, what do you mean by that? You know, I like to hear.
The symbolism sort of implies something.
I'm sure.
Right? The higher, and then when they say you need moral laws,
but some
zooms
guys
up into the sky.
Some guys will do that on purpose to like, hey, let's see if you're still following me. You think it's over right now? Then you weren't paying attention long enough.
Like who?
Like it's anybody.
No, who's done that?
Who?
Yeah. Oh, you? You're alone, my friend. You should be a director.
You're wrong on that one.
You're talking about something religious, even if you think you're an atheist.
Now that one I would ask, like, what the fuck do you mean by that? Now, I would agree with that if you meant religious, as in it's almost like you're creating your own religion.
It's being vague.
You're creating your own principles.
Like, not in a good way. Like, there's somebody, like, oh, he's not explaining that on purpose versus, okay, you're being descriptive. Now you're not telling me shit. Like, what do you mean by that, dude? What do you mean by religious? That could mean a bunch of shit.
To me, it sounds like religion.
Yeah.
The typical religions, not just religion. Okay.
I'm Peter Kraft, professor of philosophy.
It's over. Professor
And I'm just telling my name. And if you listen long enough, I'll tell you what I mean. Fuck you, Jason Jordan. You guys didn't pay attention to the whole video. Wash.
I wouldn't have needed it. I want to understand him better.
I need an ass kick. Not for me.
Alright, that's our prageru part 1. Yeah, they got a shitload of videos that are like 5 minutes long. So I'm like, on a range of topics. Some political, some philosophical.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, okay, this is interesting.
They just led me along until the end. It's like,
Well, he broke down the other stuff pretty good.
yeah, but then at the end, it's like, what do you mean by that? It's like, hey, it could be nothing else. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I know.
It
seems kind of lazy.
I get hanged, you know. I'm not going to say I'm going to enjoy it or anything. It's just, hey, it's not my fault if you don't get it.
Yeah, I don't mind him reaching a supernatural cause for all of this, but it seemed like he's narrowing it down to religion. Seems like he's narrowing it down to religions. Mainstream religions. Probably Christianity in particular. Judeo-Christian morality. Either way, we were done here. Subscribe if you feel like. If you made it this far in the video. Some sort of game we're playing. Once you get here, you'll receive a $200 bonus for Amazon shopping carts.
We'll get sued. Watch. 1 month later. It's like, you guys made the assumption or promise that you $200 gift card for Amazon? And it's some kid at the end of the trial after he wins. We get sentenced in jail. And by jail, I mean we go to some workshop that's jail. And we're working up like hundreds of dollars. But the kid gets his $200 plus, 20 for suffering, And at the end, he rips off his shirt and says, MGTOW. And the judge is like, gentlemen, go your own way. Rips off his shirt, MGTOW. There'll be no women where you're going.
There probably are sleeper cells all over the fucking country. Alright, subscribe if you like. Please comment. If you agree, disagree, whatever, comment. And as always, thumbs down. Yes.